Hi, welcome back. My name is Phoebe. This is Moonshine Stitchery. This is a channel about cross stitch. Today I have a regular 2-week update for you. We're going to talk about everything that I stitched on in the last 2 weeks, things that I'm wanting to stitch on, a little bit of haul, and tiny bit of reading at the end because I've really only been reading one thing. So I have been just watching so many whip parades at the whip parade extravaganza. The whip parade cornucopia continues and it has been delightful. And I've been getting a lot of stitching done. So I do have a nice big finish to start off the video with. It is not a fully finished, but I did get all the stitching done. And I'm excited to share that with you. It's one of my older whips, and so we will look at that, and then we'll look at my whips. Did I have any starts? I didn't start anything new in these last 2 weeks. So then we'll look at whips, which stands for works in progress, and we'll go from there. So let me grab that finish. And here is my finish. So you guys have seen this on my channel since the beginning. This is Lila's Studio Halloween Quaker, and yeah, when I got this out this last period of this, I think it was pretty soon after my last video. Did I get this out for the 13th? Yeah. And there was just enough left to go that I thought I'm just going to keep on stitching on this till I finished it. So I stitched for like 6 days and it's done. So this is stitched on Picture This Plus Cauldron. It's a 28 count Lugana. And it's really soft Lugana. I've noticed, along with being really soft from Picture This Plus, it doesn't wrinkle, which is so nice. But yeah, what can I tell you about this? This is stitched with all the called for flosses. It is stitched 2 over 2 on the 28 count. I was anxious to get this out of my whip list because I don't really love stitching 2 over 2, and this ate up so much floss. Especially 2 of the most called for. We have Classic Colorworks Black Coffee, and then we have Classic Colorworks Blackbird. Blackbird, it used a lot of that. So what is new since the last time you saw this is basically this whole section going down was all new, and then all of this as well. So like all of this was what I did in the last, when I got this out the last time. So yeah, I just love her. I'm so glad to finally have her done. And like I mentioned in the last video, now that she's finished, when I feel like working on a Lila Studio project, I can work on the Summer Quaker, which I also have started, but that is on 40 count. And so I feel like it'll be a much more enjoyable stitch. So yeah. It'll also be a lot smaller, so that's always good. So some of my favorite motifs in here, the cats with all of that purple, Rainy Days, love it. Anything that's stitched with this bluish gray here, I love all of the little motifs stitched with that. What else? The witch legs, the socks with shoes are just iconic. I actually don't really know what that thing is at the very bottom. I put in my initials with 2025. In the pattern, it says that this heart there, where it says T, they have an H because it's for Halloween, but I put T for Tim. And then they had a W for witch right here over this black cat. And I put P because my maiden name starts with a P. Oh, and then of course, probably my very favorite is this haunted village down here. It's just so cute. But I love the whole thing. The spiders are so cute. I really loved it. So I'm very happy to have it done and to be able to hang it up for Halloween. Whoop. And yeah. I think this is my only project that I have a Picture This Plus fabric with, because back when I first found Flosstube, I wanted to try a lot of the fabrics that people were using, and then after that, like maybe 6 months after that, is when I fell in love with dyeing my own fabric. But yeah, so she's all done, and I have left her out for 2 weeks so I could look at her, and I just really enjoy her. So that is my first finish of 2025. I want to talk about a couple of new fabrics to the shop really quick before I forget. So like I mentioned, I have been enjoying dyeing linen under the name Moonshine Stitchery, just like the channel, and it currently resides on my nail polish website, and that is linked in the description bar below. So anyway, I don't need to hold that all up like that. This is the new color that I mentioned that I was going to make last video. I was talking about wanting to create a color for the Pantone color of the year, which is Mocha Mousse, which looks like this. And that is a kind of pinky brown. And so I went a little bit softer in color so it wouldn't be quite as deep for your samplers. But if you were wanting to stitch on something that is inspired by the Pantone color of the year, I mentioned in the last video that it's not like too exciting for me to make a nail polish this color, but making a linen in the Pantone color of the year in Mocha Mousse was really an enticing idea to me. So this is 40 count Mocha Mousse. I just kept it the same name as the Pantone color of the year. And right now I only have this in 40 count, but we shall see. If you are wanting this in another count to celebrate the year, please just let me know and I will add that to the shop. But as you can see, this is it's just a lovely mocha shade, but it does lean a little bit rosy because of the inspiration color. And it does have some soft modeling, but it is slight. It is definitely a lot slighter than like Footloose on the website. Here's the other half of it. So right now I have fat quarters in 40 count, and that is the link to shop is down in the description bar below. And then while I was at it, I dyed another shade, and these will of course be all serged and everything when they come to you. This shade is inspired by all of the recent snow that we've been getting. So this is Snowfall. This is 36 count. And this is a very soft ivory with a hint of a soft gray. It is a soft, slightly purpley gray. And I feel like that modeling, it's a very gentle modeling on there. It's not going to be super stark because I didn't make the pigmentation very strong. But yes, I think this is another great sampler option when you want something just a little bit different, and it's inspired by all the snow we're getting. So this is Snowfall, and right now it's only available in 36 count on the website. And I will, again, if you would like this in a different count, please just let me know. So there is Snowfall. And then all of the other colors, you can go check out when you're there. You can see all the other colors that I'm offering right now. Basically all sampler shades. Some of them are, like if you want to mix it up a little bit and not be super traditional with your sampler fabric, but everything will work well for a sampler. Okay, so I am just going to start pulling whips now, which is works in progress. This is the most recent thing I stitched on because I stitched on it on the 25th. I always like to stitch on something Christmassy on the 25th. And this is this project here. Black and Gold Art Deco Christmas tree, which I found on Etsy last year. And I really loved it. It provided me some different, a different vibe for my decor for Christmas. And I love the geometric nature. This is by Autumn Harbison on Etsy. So I did not have all of the called for DMC. I had 310, and then I had 3865, but then the three kind of gold shades, there is one that's more of a tan, and then this one's kind of more tan, and then these are the two shades of gold. And that's all you need for this pattern. So I'm using 3865, 310, 436, 680, and 420 for the DMC. And here is where I got to. Let me put my phone down. I'm stitching this on some 32 count Lugana that I over dyed with, I grunged it up with, as you can see, some gray and some tan modeling to go with the colors of the chart. And this right here is the very middle of the Christmas tree. So if you can imagine it going out from there. And I was stitching on this yesterday so my husband Tim, his birthday was yesterday, and I set him up for a massage and a float. And I took the girls to a jumpy place while he was in there, and I just busted out a ton of this outlining in the gold, I think it's the darker gold. So that's what I worked on. Just like most of the gold outlining that you can see that isn't surrounded by black or white. So like all of that, all of that, all of that. That's all new. And then I put in a little bit of black, but that was it. And then for the rest of the day, we were mostly hanging out with my husband for his birthday. So I did get a little bit on this on the 25th. I need to grab that needle out of there. But yeah, I like this pattern. I like it. I wish that I had done this on just one strand. I don't know why I was thinking that with 32 count, I just had to have the 2 strands. I like a 1 strand on 32 count, but especially on this Lugana, it is on the thicker side. So yeah, but that's okay. I'm still enjoying it, and I'm using DMC, so I'm less frustrated with how it's eating up so much floss than I was with Halloween Quaker, for example. On my nails today, by the way, these are 2 new magnetic polishes from my brand Moonshine Manny. So like I mentioned before, if you're looking for my linen, it resides on my nail polish website. So if you're new to my channel, I am an indie nail polish brand owner and creator, and I do it all by hand. So it's indie is different from like a mainstream OPI, China Glaze, Orly, because it's all hand mixed by me, and it's not run by any kind of corporation. So it's an independent company. So I create all of it in my studio space and ship it all from here, and it's a one-man band. But because of the way that I run my company, it makes it so I can use really, really cool components that makes your nail polish really fun. And so this is a new shade that we have that is a magnetic shade, and this is called Ice Castle. If you've heard about a magnetic polish and you haven't tried it yet, for example, here's my brand's bottle. This doesn't have a label on it yet for the name of the polish, but so the magnet, it's gonna bring, there's 2 shimmers in here. One is magnetic, but they're all following a blue to purple teal color story. So in this one in particular, it's more of like a tone on tone, kind of how I talked about with my linen dyeing. But there you can see how a is it called a neodymium bar magnet. You can just get these on Amazon. So you don't need a special kind of magnet for your nail polish. My preferred magnetic application is with one of these big horseshoe magnets, and you put your finger right in there when you're painting. And I really like this because it just creates kind of like, it pulls the magnetic shimmer to the top, and it just really makes your nail polish glow, which is the method that I've used on this one. But this hand, okay, so this is Ice Castle, and that's this blue with the purple shift, blue, purple, tealy shift. And then this one is called Snow Bunny's Business. And this one, as you can see, is a very romantic rose with an antique gold magnetic shimmer. So as you put the magnet on there, it pulls it all to one location, and then the rest of your nail you can see the pink, which is what's happening on this nail. And then these ones where the gold is more prominent is because I used the horseshoe. And so, yeah, we haven't talked about magnetic polish on this channel, I don't think, yet. But anyway, so these are new to my website right now, but they were created in a live event on my Phoebe Moon YouTube channel, which is for nail polish and vlogs. And anyway, there's only a certain amount available, which is why I'm taking the time to show you, because since I'm wearing them today, if you're wondering about them, they are currently available on my website, but they have a single batch available, unlike like my main collections that I launched, like the Book Boyfriends collection. These ones just have a single batch available. So if you want to try some magnetic polish, here's Snow Bunny's Business, the inspo picture that inspired the polish. And then here's Ice Castle for this one. So anyway, that's what's on my nails as you're watching me talk about stitching today, in case you're curious. The next project I'm going to share with you is my Florence Mary Dickinson whip. This project I started last June. I believe I started this at Heidi's house. This is a piece of fabric that I dyed at Heidi's house, Heidi from Whips and Kits. And I started this, she has the whole border done, which if you've watched her whip parade, she has a 2-part whip parade that she just put out, which is fabulous. And she did the whole border, and then she put her grandma's name down here at the bottom. I did my typical top left hand start, and we started this for Stitching Bunny Judy and Sarah Stitchy Spot's birthdays, which they share the same birthday week in June, and we started this together. And I am using my own conversion of flosses inspired by the DMCs, and it's a lot of beautiful, beautiful saturated colors. So I discovered something this time around. This is, so like I said, this is just a piece of linen that I dyed to give it a kind of dark and dirty, and it's a 40 count. So I'm doing 1 strand over 2. But I discovered that the symbol for the vine, it is an X, and it is supposed to be I believe it is supposed to be Brown Bear, which is, well, it's supposed to be 3895, I think. Whatever that super dark brown is. But I put in Gentle Art Brown Bear. However, it looks very similar to another symbol, which also looks like an X. And for some reason, when I was starting this, I was probably just too distracted having so much fun with Heidi. And I thought it was the other symbol. So, which made sense to me, because for the vine, I was like, yeah, the dark, dark green for the vine. That's what it should be, obviously. So I have MPI 834 in there with my Monica Chandler and her Rastafarian hat when they're, where are they even, on that cruise or something, or on that trip, and she comes back with these shell braids, and they're so, and Chandler hates them. It's so funny. Anyway, so if mine looks different, that is probably why, because my vines are going to be dark green instead of brown. So I am not picking it out. It is what it is. So this time around, I put in the bird, I filled out these flowers, and basically I just completed the first page, which goes like this, right, like that. And then I moved on to the second page, and I started work from there. I love this flower here. The color for that is so pretty. It's Sweet Pea. Is it Sweet Pea? Yes, I have Gentle Art Sweet Pea in there, and it's just a really beautiful variegation between a gray and a light mauve. Anyway, I have so many colors in this conversion to use that I haven't gotten to put in here yet, but I'm super excited to. So yeah, if you would like to know all of my flosses, just let me know and I will get that info to you. So here's where I'm at, and I love her. I was really excited that I rolled this one. I randomly rolled it last week to stitch on. That's how I try to touch all of my projects, if you're finding as you're going through these whip parades and as you're looking at your own projects and you're like, there's things that I didn't touch all year and I really wish that I had, one way that works really well for me is I have a focus list, which happens to be my Mania from 2024 list. So 24 projects that are my focus projects that I draw from every 2 weeks. But then I also have a full list of all of my whips and I draw from that too. So that if I'm ever like, I don't know what I want to stitch on right now, I go to those and I work on those things, and it helps me kind of rotate through my projects and not forget about things that are older. So we're gonna be doing that at the end of the video. So there is my, I cannot for the life of me, Florence Mary Dickinson. I was wanting to call this Jane Fittiz for this entire last 2 weeks, every time I was thinking about this project, which I also have that as a whip, but that is not what this is. So this is Hands Across the Sea, if I didn't say that. The other project that I random rolled with you is Cardinal Points from Long Dog Samplers, and here is how mine is looking. I made an effort to get over here to this cardinal because Cardinal Points, it's a collab with Gentle Art, and it has a ton of Gentle Art, and it's gonna be a whole rainbow of colors, and that's really fun. But the other thing about Cardinal Points is that there's cardinals in it, and I wanted to get over into the cardinals. So what did I do this time? This is a piece of 40 count that I overdyed. It is kind of similar to Snowfall, but it has a little bit, it's a little more gray and a little more taupe instead of gray with a violet lean. It's gray with a taupe lean, and it's a little grungier than Snowfall. Anyway, so this is a 40 count, so I'm stitching 1/2, and I'm using all the called for flosses. And this time around, I finished out like anything that was missing all in here. So that's all complete in there now. And then I popped in all of these flowers, brought this border over more. I had a jolly time stitching on this. And then I was working on the cardinal. So I just did this for maybe like a day and a half. And I originally saw this on Pam and Steph's channel. It was one of the projects that Pam was stitching on, and I started it on Ada. I started in the middle and then kind of like hated it on Ada, so then I restarted on linen. And this is one of the projects that, well, that whole experience is one of the things that really made me love linen for certain things. I still enjoy Ada with some things, but for samplers, I just love the look of a sampler with linen. So, man, it is feeling very cold in this room right now. Like I said, we've had a lot of snow. I'm looking at the snow out my window and I'm feeling very chilly. Okay, so that's Cardinal Points. On the 21st of each month, I work on Cathy Barrick's Fractor Flowers, which looks like this. And I am really making some great progress on this. It's really starting to take shape. So this is a piece of linen that I dyed. This is kind of similar to Landslide Intense, which is more of a yellow leaning brown than Mocha Mousse, in case you are wondering. In fact, I'm just gonna grab it. If you're on the website and you're looking at Landslide Intense is more similar to this shade of brown, and then here's Mocha Mousse, so that you have that reference if you're looking to get some sampler fabric. Okay, this isn't actually Landslide Intense because this is something that I dyed a year ago. So I am using the called for greens that are MPIs, and then I think the 2 pinks are called for. The darkest green is not called for. So basically I used all the MPIs that I had on hand that were called for, and then I supplemented from my stash. I just didn't feel like buying more flosses for this when I decided to start it. So this time around I was working down here. Actually, I did this part of the lettering, and then I filled out, these 3 flowers are all done now. They weren't before. Oh, that little bit of the foliage is not quite done, but those 3 bluebell looking, or not bluebell, right? Because there's so much red in there. Anyway, they're filled out, and then I came down here and I outlined these, started outlining that and started filling it in, but I just was working on what I could get done in the one day. So I really love this. It's stitched 1/2 on 40 count. And I think it's just gonna go to like here, and that's gonna be the bottom of it. So I'm just working on this once a month, so I'm in no rush to finish this one. I'm stitching it for my daughter Honor, and her birthday is the 21st of February. So on the 21st of the month, I get this out and stitch on it. I had a couple things that I stitched on a lot in the last 2 weeks, namely the Halloween Quaker, but then also this one got some good progress on it. I don't have a ton of whips, so I'm almost done showing you whips. So this is the Hometown Sal from Teresa Kogut. Let me show you where we're at totally right now. So I am 1 month behind, although this period of time I stitched all of December's and then I started in on January's, but as you can see, I didn't get super far. But so, okay, so December, we were working on this adorable chapel, church, and then put in some more of the apple trees. So this, like that, and that was December. So this was pretty light stitching because there wasn't like a huge house to do like this. However, when we come over here into January's, this big school is large. So, but I did get, so I've been a month behind, but because I put a little bit into January, I'm trying to catch up a little bit. So maybe by the time I get February's over here, I can do February and January in one fell swoop. So I started putting in the school and wrote the word school so that I can just map out. I like to map out the bones of houses and then fill them in. I think this is going to be the same as that, which you can't really see very well, that it says gift barn, I think, gift barn. So I might end up going over that with a lighter color so you can see that. So this is done using my own conversion, so if it looks different, that's why, because it's all called for, she calls for DMCs with everything, and I used overdyed flosses from Stash. So I really, really enjoy this project. It's on a piece of 32 count Lugana that I overdyed to give it this kind of country road, dusty brown color, and I'm just really enjoying it. So for Teresa Kogut's Patreon tier 4, you get a new part of this every month, and it's a 2-year-long sal. And if you want to join now, you can go join her Patreon, and then you can purchase each of the other parts for like $1. So if you want to go get it and start catching up and want to stitch with me, that would be super fun. So yeah, I love, love, love that project. Still in love with it after all these years. Yeah, I love that Lugana doesn't wrinkle. You didn't see what parade for me because I am going to do it on my Flosstube anniversary, which is coming up in March. So you'll see all my projects in March. Okay, so excited. This is my Back to School 2023 project. This is Ann Dale from Shakespeare's Peddler. And you're going to be seeing this more frequently because Heidi and I are stitching this on Stitchy Zooms with Michael from Davis Quilting Stitching. If you're not subscribed to him, please go do so. He loves a Hands Across the Sea sampler, plus many other things, and he is delightful. So go, all the channels that I mentioned are going to be in the description bar below, but go check him out. You're going to be seeing my progress on this every month, and you can see where he is working on, and Heidi, we're all in different spots on this project. So I am stitching this on a very pale green, as you can see, and Michael is stitching this on pink. Heidi, I think he's also stitching this on green, maybe not. Anyway, and then Nerissa is stitching this on pink, or did you finish, Nerissa? You might have finished. Anyway, This is delightful. So I was thinking, okay, so I was thinking last time I put this down that I was basically done with the border, that this, or excuse me, the top band, that this was gonna be the last flower. It's not. Silly, silly me. So it's symmetrical-ish. So, sorry, I was thinking that this was the last flower, but no, this is the last flower. So as you can see, here's the middle, right below my nose, and then there's 3 on each side. So anyway, when I was stitching with Heidi and Michael this last week, we've only stitched on this for 1 week together. I was working on carrying this yellow cross. I'm using the called for MPIs, and then I was working on this guy right here and then pulling this over some more. So that's all I did on that one day. We stitched for about an hour and a half, but this is gonna get some more consistent progress on it. So this is a big old piece of fabric that I over dyed. This is a fat half of 40 count and called for flosses, 1/2 and Dale from Shakespeare's Peddler, which was my 2023 back to school project in September of 2023. Okay, my last whip. This is Garden Prelude from Mirabilia, and I actually am shy 4 strands of floss. So I missed 2 days of daily stitching on this when I was finishing up something. I forget what I was doing, but I was like, oh, I'm gonna catch up on that on Saturday, and then it was Tim's birthday, so I didn't. Because sometimes if I don't stitch on this, so this is my 2 strands a day, everyday project. You've seen this on my channel, so that's why I'm just like jumping right into it. You guys see this every single time. This is my oldest whip, and so I'm stitching on this every day till it's done. So I do 2 strands. Since I'm stitching this on 32 count white chelt natural raw linen or whatever it's called, the called for, I'm using 2 strands, and so I pull out 2 strands and put that in, and then I pull out 2 more strands of a color and put that in. I do that every day. However, if I'm like working for a finish or I'm working on something particular that day and I just don't want to put that down, I will be like, okay, I'm going to do 2 days tomorrow. Does that make sense? So I had 3 days that I was supposed to catch up on this on Saturday and only got 2 of the strands in. So anyway, that was a long way to explain. Not that you could probably tell that there were 2 days missing in here, but look at, I'm just getting this dress so close to a finish. It's all complete now, all the way across to here. Whoops, I just stuck my finger with that needle. I've got some white, and then the dark navy needs to be popped into there, but like almost completely full coverage over to there, and then just this left of the dress. So it's very, very, very exciting. I love this project so much. These are probably not like all the way done, but there's not a ton left to do in these 2 portions of the garden. And then that's gonna be like, it's gonna be the same on this side. And then there's just a little bit of outlining here. There's not much going on in the back of that. So once she's done, there's just a little bit of garden to do, and then she'll be done. So it's very exciting. I'm using all the called for DMC and specialty flosses. And this is Elizabeth, and I love her. So, yes, her skin is done, 1/1. Everything else is 2/2. And then I was beading as I was going, because I stitch in hand, if I didn't mention that before. So, there she is. And you see her on my channel every video until she's done. And I'm hoping that she'll be done by Mania. And now that I knocked out Halloween Quaker, which was my second to oldest whip besides this, not counting my full coverage projects, which may never get done, you know how that goes. My next oldest project is also a Halloween, it's another Halloween full coverage, but it's not like Haid full coverage. It's this one. So that'll be the next thing that I try to get knocked out after this baby. So anyway, there's that. Before we go on to haul, I want to talk about a few of the whip parades that I just thought were so good, and if you happened to have missed them, make sure you go give them a watch. So I just finished the second part of Heidi Whips and Kits. My good friend Heidi, she lives in Wisconsin, very close to Country Sampler, and I just finished part 2 of hers, and it was delicious. So definitely go give that a watch. Another whip braid that was just fantastic. Lila D Stitches. She also, it's a 2-parter. She stitches on a huge variety of things. So if you are like me and you want to see somebody who just kind of stitches on everything and is going to take the time to show you everything, that one was a good one. So Lila D Stitches, Heidi Whips and Kits, and then my third, like, do not miss whip parade for you is Memphis Sarah E. She is just delightful, period. And she seems to be friends with literally everyone, understandably so, because she is delightful. But she also is another person who has a ton of whips and is stitching on a huge variety of things. Don't miss her whip parade. I believe that one is also a 2-parter. So those are my 3 strong recommendations for you after watching like every whip parade on the planet, it feels like. I have subscribed to a ton of new people, a lot of full coverage whip parades, which, to be honest, I didn't watch the whole thing because those ones aren't my personal preference. I do like a little bit of full coverage, but I like seeing a lot of different things. So in any case, I have a lot of new channels that I'm subscribed to and really enjoyed that. So again, I've said this for the last couple episodes, but thanks to everyone who did their whip parades. It was really enjoyable for me. Okay, so I have a tiny bit of haul. When I was trying to finish up Halloween Quaker, I ran out of Classic Colorworks Blackbird. I found my little stash of Blackbird that I had, but it was too late. So anyway, I had run down to Pine Needles in West Jordan? I don't remember what city it is. Anyway, it's the closest LNS to me now. And I picked up, they don't have as huge of a stock of patterns like Shepherd's Bush, for example, but that's 2 hours away versus this is 45 minutes away. So anyway, I picked up 2 patterns. I had Joy with me and she went and found the flosses for me. So this is Blueberry Ridge Sampler Seasons Winter. Having just finished that Quaker from Lila Studio, I was in a very Quakery mood, so I grabbed that, and it just calls for Weeks Dye Works Shepherd's Blue. We'll give you that look. And then I also grabbed this because this project from Hardin Privé has been in the background of my video for a very long time, even though it's not been spring for almost a whole year. I just think it's so cute, and it's a very easy finish on one of these little stand-up blocks from Hobby Lobby. I just put it right on the front of it. And then, so anyway, I really like it, and I was like, I'm just gonna pick up the winter one while I'm here. There we go, sorry. So yeah, so that was my haul. Now we can talk about plans. So for my plans, I have specific things that I stitch on specific days of the month. The next specific day is January 30th. I will be stitching on Blackberry House from Plum Street Sampler. I am anxious to get a lot of progress on that, so maybe I'll stitch on that on the 29th and the 30th. I just feel like I've been stitching on that one forever. So anyway, I love that project. I'm stitching it 1/2 with all the called for flosses, and I really like it. So that I'm stitching on the 30th for my other daughter Joy's birthday. On the 31st, I'm going to stitch on this project, which is my next oldest whip after Elizabeth Garden Prelude, which is a Brian Jackson Hello Halloween or Happy Halloween. And this is the full coverage one I was talking about. Isn't it cool? I saw somebody had stitched this on Instagram years ago, and I was like, gotta have it. It's really fun. But I'm also stitching it on Lugana, and I'm also stitching it 2/2 with the called for DMCs. And so it's another older project that just isn't in the same process of stitching that I like. I still love the design and everything about it. I love all the colors. I love the DMC. I just don't love the to stitching, and so I'm anxious to get all of the older stuff out of my whip pile for that reason. But yes, I'm going to be stitching on that, and I have that in my Markup XP app, so that is very helpful. Then on the 4th of February, I will stitch on this, which is my Americana Sailboat Sampler. You see that every 2 episodes, every other episode you see that because it comes out once a month. On the 7th, I'm going to stitch on my Seaside Stitches from Jeanette Douglas. That's my birthday stitch. And then we'll already be arriving to my next time for my next video. So those are for sure, what was that, like 4 things you're for sure going to see. Besides that, I'm going to draw a couple projects. My brother Oliver is going to be getting here like the day after I film my next Flosstube, and he's going to be here for a week, and he's my bestie, and I'm very, very excited he's going to be here, but who knows how much stitching I'll get done during that period of time. Okay, so the first thing I do to pick a random whip is I have all of my Mania 2024 projects right here. These are not all things that I started last May. These are just items that, like previous whips that I added to this list of focus pieces I wanted to get done. So I have a random number generator, and I put in that I want the highest number it can go would be 24. So I go like this and 21. So then I can look on the list and find number 21, which is Hannah Campbell. That is very exciting. Hannah Campbell looks like this. I just saw Heidi show this on her whip parade, and I was like, I forgot she had that much done. That is one of the coolest samplers. When she was stitching it and showing it to me, I was just like, I've never seen anything like this. I have to start it. So then of course I did. I don't have near as much done as she does. She has made it into the big middle diamond thing looking thing. But anyway, so you'll definitely see some progress on that. And then, as I mentioned before, the other way that I choose a random project is I use this Tiny Decisions app, and just go to the App Store, search Tiny Decisions. I got this idea also from Pam and Steph, and I have all my whips in here, and then it should blank it out when it's rolled it so that it doesn't roll it again. So in theory, I also am stitching this with Heidi, and she was just talking about this on her whip parade, and Heidi, you said we should stitch on this every Saturday. Well, looks like we're gonna be stitching that this Saturday, so. Mr. Collins' Humble Abode from the Stitching Parlor. Is that right? It looks like this. Such a cute project. So, yeah, I use that to help me get into projects that I haven't stitched on, and I started that last June in Wisconsin with Heidi, and I think I've stitched on it one time since then, but now I'll get a little bit more progress on it. So that is very exciting. I gotta hurry up and finish this video because I'm freezing in here. So I need to go get a sweater on, and I have to leave for choir practice in a little bit anyway. So really quickly, I'm gonna talk to you about books. This is so fast, but that was the end of the stitching talk. So fast, the only book that I've been reading in the last 2 weeks is Outlander. So I started Outlander 1. This is officially my first 5-star read of 2025. I loved it. It was great. It was long, which I like a long book. Tons of adventure, like non-stop action. Of course it has romance, but it's like closed door romance for the most part. And from what I understand, the TV show is not really like that. So if you prefer closed door, definitely just read it. But I'm loving it. The narrator is fantastic. So I jumped right into book 2. I am like 7 hours from the end of book 2. Here's what book 2 looks like. And it's just really, really good. I loved book 1 more than I'm enjoying book 2, but I still am really liking it. So for those of you who recommended that I read that, thank you so much. If you have read it before and you want to reread it with me, jump on in. Please in the comments tell me what you are reading right now. Tell me shows you're watching or binging while you are stitching. Tell me what your favorite project is you're stitching on. And that's going to be it for today. So thank you so much for joining me. I hope that you had some fun hanging out with me, seeing what I'm stitching on. I hope that you're staying nice and warm and safe. I hope that you get lots of stitchy time in the next couple weeks. I will see you back in 2 weeks. It will be February. Very exciting. And yeah, that's going to be it for now. So take care, and I'll talk to you very soon. Okay, Bye.